Hi everyone, this is David, Chief Flight Instructor, Malware Flight Training. Welcome to our new video in our series of the National Airspace System. Today is the turn Class Echo and Class Golf. First, we're going to start with Class Echo. I like to define Class Echo airspace as controllable airspace. What do I mean by this? All Class Echo is controlled by ATC, but that doesn't mean that you have to be in radio contact with them at all times. Per definition, Class Echo airspace starts at 14,500 feet mean sea level unless depicted otherwise. But in a sectional chart, especially here in Florida, a good rule of thumb is that if you don't have anything depicted, Class Echo starts at 1,200 feet above ground level. Now, let's talk a little bit about these exceptions to the 1,200 feet. The first one is when Class Echo starts at the surface. You're going to see this with dashed magenta lines. Usually this happens because even though it's not part of a controlled airspace like a Class Delta, ATC still wants to have control over these areas. This usually happens when we are extending a Class Delta airport to the sides to make sure that ATC has coverage over the area when an airplane is doing an instrument approach. They want to make sure that they're still going to be clear for traffic. So in this case, Class Echo will start at the surface all the way up to the next controlled airspace. The second exception to a Class Echo is when we have a shaded magenta area. When we see this shaded magenta area, Class Echo starts at 700 feet AGL all the way up to the next controllable airspace. Following by this, we can see Class Echo in Victor Airways that are also depicted in our sectional charts. This Victor Airways starts at 1,200 feet AGL and goes up usually to the next controllable airspace, or until the VOR has enough coverage. Other than this, we also have Class Echo airspace offshore. And this offshore, you're going to see with those two blue zipper lines, and it's going to be depicted exactly at what altitude does Class Echo begin. And finally, the last exception to Class Echo is all the airspace above flight level 600, which is basically where Class Alpha ends. Weather minimums for Class Echo depend on the altitude. When you're below 10,000 feet MSL, it reverts back to the same as Class Charlie and Class Delta, with 3 statute miles visibility, 1,000 feet above the clouds, 500 feet below the clouds, and 2,000 feet horizontally, what we call the 3152s. Now, above 10,000 feet, it changes a little bit. Visibility goes up to 5 statute miles visibility, and now you have to keep yourself 1,000 feet above the clouds, 1,000 feet below the clouds, and 1 statute mile horizontally from all the clouds. Airspeed limitations usually are 250 knots, unless you are below the shelf of a Class Bravo, where it would be 200 knots. This is what we will be covering today regarding Class Echo. Now we're going to talk about Class Golf. Class Golf is the only airspace that falls within the uncontrolled airspace category within the National Airspace System. So what does uncontrolled airspace mean? Unlike the general opinion would think, not all airports in the country need an operating tower to work. And this is where Class Golf is really important. Within Class Golf airspace and Class Golf airports, pilots organize themselves and coordinate so everyone can safely and efficiently join the traffic pattern, take off, and land. It sounds really crazy, but it actually works out pretty well. Because it's uncontrolled, there's not many regulations into this specific airspace, other than the weather minimums. And weather minimums are really different depending on the time of the day and the altitude that you're on. So, let's say that you're flying during the day in a Class Golf airspace below 1,200 feet AGL. In this case, the weather that you need to abide by is 1 statute mile visibility and be clear of clouds at any time. Now, if you're gonna do the same thing, but at night, it reverts back to what Class Charlie, Delta, and Echo below 10,000 feet were, where you have to be 3 statute miles visibility, 1,000 feet above, 500 feet below, and 2,000 feet horizontally from the clouds. Second scenario, let's say we are above 1,200 feet AGL, but we are below 10,000 feet MSL. In this case, during the day, it's going to be 1 statute mile visibility again, but it's going to be 1,000 feet above, 500 feet below, and 2,000 feet horizontally from the clouds, while at night is the same as the first scenario. 3 statute miles visibility, 1,000 feet above, 500 feet below, and 2,000 feet horizontally from the clouds. Finally, last scenario from class Golf, above 1,200 feet AGL and above 10,000 feet MSL. In this case, both day and night are the same. 5 statute miles visibility, 1,000 feet above, 1,000 feet below, and 1 statute miles horizontally from the clouds. And that's what we're going to cover today for both Class Echo and Class Golf airspace. Please stay tuned for following videos where we will start talking about special use airspace as well as other type of airspaces. Thank you.